With Damian Lillard being ruled out for what we can all assume is the rest of the season, the Bucks' title hopes are gone. While Bucks and some NBA fans can just say, well, as long as Dame is back next season, they'll be fine. Well, I got some bad news. That's not the case. First off, they don't really have a way to make a roster that's a legit contender. They don't have a lot of draft capital. Their first round picks for the next 3 years are being affected from the Drew Holiday trade 4 years ago. This is not even mentioning the picks they had to give up trading for Dame, which affect their first round picks from 2028 to 2030. So the Bucks only have control of their first round pick in 2031. When it comes to picks, the Bucks are broke. And player-wise, outside of Giannis and Dame, they don't have anyone of value who makes real money that they can move to bring a game-changing piece. Kyle Kuzma, despite being in a smaller role now, he's still been terrible. He's making over $20 million a year. I don't think any team wants that. Brook Lopez is 36 years old and a shell of himself compared to 4 years ago. When he has to defend in space, he moves like he has cinder blocks in his feet. Bobby Portis, while a okay role player, is not bringing you anything back to move the needle, and the Bucks don't have any intriguing young players to move. The one they did move, ironic enough, was to trade for Kuzma by using AJ Johnson as the sweetener in the deal. The Bucks just drafted AJ in the first round this past draft, knowing he was a project, just to trade him 8 months later. Now, in the past 8 games, AJ has been balling and flashing the potential he always had, but they traded him for this. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, I would appreciate it if you could like the video, as it helps the video perform better in the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Also, everyone that gets real minutes outside of Giannis, Dame, Kuzma, AJ Green, and Andre Jackson Jr., their contracts expire this season or next season. And a guy like Gary Trent Jr. is going to leave for a bigger payday somewhere else. And Brook Lopez, he might stay, but I can totally see a team give him a contract that's more than the Bucks can pay because of how valuable his skill set is. And the Bucks can't afford to give them big time contracts because they want to stay out of the dreaded second apron. That leaves the Bucks having to reshuffle the rest of the roster with vet minimum players or rookies from the late first or second round. And getting players from that pool to be legit solid role players doesn't have a high hit rate like we are seeing with the Suns. Since that's going to be the Bucks' reality, you tell me how the Bucks can actually beat the Celtics or Cavs in a 7-game series. Lastly, Giannis and Dame are entering the tail end of their primes. While Giannis is one of the 3 best players in the league and won't fall off next season, he's 30 and will be 31 next season, and more so, his style of play might not let him age as gracefully as other players, and lately he's faced injury problems. And with Dame, he will be a 35-year-old guard who'll be coming back next season off of a blood clot issue. And yes, a lot of Dame's game is dependent on his outside shooting. It's also very dependent on his speed and burst, which has already taken a step back. You can see that in his percentage of field goal attempts coming from the rim getting lower in the past couple of years. So if Dame comes back with his speed and burst getting worse, and it will probably take him 20 to 30 something games to maybe get back to himself. It's not a guarantee because Dame is on the wrong side of 30, and I don't want this to happen, but if Dame can't come back from this, it's what, Giannis and a mediocre supporting cast with 1 first-round pick and no players of value to get a player that can move the needle. After winning the finals 4 years ago, it would be crazy to say Giannis wouldn't be a one franchise guy like Dirk, Kobe, and Steph Curry. But with the way things are going and how they could go, it's not too crazy to say that. I appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about the Bucks' future. See y'all in the next one.